The World Economic Forum in 2024, they offered a survey where they found 40% of people surveyed held off on investing in the market specifically because they were afraid of losing their money. Now, this ultimately came from an article in Investopedia the other day called Conquering Your Fear of Investing. I found it very interesting, and I think they gave really good advice that we'll have to augment a little bit for the BRI perspective, but it's still really good. They quote the CEO of Elevated Accounting, who pointed out, yes, it might seem like a good idea to hold off on investing to not lose money, but there's also risk there too. There's risk with everything. They said, quote, avoiding investing feels like protection, but it's expensive. Inflation quietly eats away at savings, growth gets delayed, and you end up working harder just to maintain your money. The fear is real, but so is the cost of staying frozen. So the question now is what to do. They recommend two things, and I want your thoughts on this, Seth.
Sure.
And what maybe we should do with this from a financial issues perspective.
That's great.
So one, they say invest in index funds. They say they're well diversified. They're better insulated from dramatic market fluctuations as a result. So they take away some of that fear. Plus, they do a lot of hand holding. You don't have to invest in individual equities. The problem from our perspective is they're not BRI. Yeah. So we might suggest in something like Timothy Plan as an alternative there. The idea is still very good.
Yeah, and Sam, I'll just add to that also, for those of you folks who are looking for some more hand holding, one of our two models is entirely based on funds. So we have the fund model, we have the regular model. If you need a little more hand holding, that fund model is definitely going to be the way to go for you. So that general point, Sam, is exactly right, is investing in those funds, just making sure they're biblically responsible.
Yes, exactly. But the principle is still there. If you're kind of wigged out by the market and you're getting started, try some ETFs, some mutual funds, particularly with the Timothy Plan
and
for being biblically
worth,
responsible.
Sam, I feel comfortable sharing this on the air. That's how you and I both started.
Exactly. The second thing they recommended, this is something Shanna talks about quite a bit, is starting small. They say deploying small amounts of money on a regular basis, also known as dollar cost averaging. You're getting the average of the highs and lows. They say this is going to build your confidence and establish investing discipline. Also, it's less nerve-wracking, of course, than just dumping all the money you have in the market at one time. So what do you think of those two, Seth?
I think it's right on, Sam. I think it's really, really good. That first step, once again, with the biblically responsible lens on it, I think is fantastic. And then that second one, you're talking about starting small and deploying small amounts of money. Dan used to talk about this all the time, Sam, that there's this habit that you get into where even if you're just doing $5 a month, that's nothing. That's like pennies. But you're building the habit of putting something away. And then you can start to grow that. You realize, okay, you know what? I didn't really miss that. I can do $10 a month. I can do 20. I can do 30. I can do 50. Then that starts to become, okay, now you're seriously getting into it. That's how you start. It's like with any type of habit. You start small, you learn small, and you start to grow it. I think that's fantastic. What I'd love to do here, Sam, is actually hear from the chat. What were some of your greatest fears before you started investing, your fears of investing, and how did you overcome those?